All right, welcome to the game. The Great American Experience happens once again. Hey, everybody, I'm Wizard of Oz. This is not my show. This is your show. Load your bowls, load your glass, sit down, get comfortable, and let's start the party. Fire in the bowl. Um, I'll be right back. I got to take care of some of those things. Be right back. While people are showing up, yeah, grab a link. Let's get this party started. All right. I'll be right back. Enjoy the fun. All right. Where'd you go? Oh, crap. All right. We'll just be hanging out here for a while until people start coming in. Be patient. Sometimes it takes a while. But yeah, they'll show up. I would have, you know. Hey, what's going on, Zoom? Yeah, I didn't upload any new videos or anything, dude. I just totally unloaded uh, two trailers full of dirt, probably about 3 yards altogether today by myself. Yeah, it was a bitch, but it was worth it. Got a bunch of work done. Yeah, man. So I deserve a cookie. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get me a cookie. Yeah, I got a cookie. Uh, Yo, canoes, man. What's happening, brother? Ain't seen you in a couple days. Screaming Eagle. Uh, on the wrong channel there, Screaming Eagle. Yeah, I figured I moved about a ton and a half of dirt today. Dry roasted peanuts, that's pretty good stuff too. I got pistachios over here. Just woke up, need to do your hair. Go do your hair and brush your teeth. Mm. Butterfingers. What happened to pies? Mm. Your pie maker quit on you? Absolutely hot fire in the motherfucking bowl. Mm. Hell yeah. You've never had a pistachio before? Oh man, they're good. Yeah. We'll go grab your chocolate chip cookies. Holy Lord. Hold on a second. I need to go check something out. I'll be right back. Kiddos, if you can come up, man, I appreciate it, man. I'll be right back. All right. I had to check that out. Hearing gunshots outside, but everything seems to be in order. But yeah, hey, welcome in. Come on up. Let's start the conversation. Grab a link. Hey, Ragged Coin. Holy shit, Ragged. Roasty toasty, huh?
Hey, Wizard.
What's up?
See what I got.
Did you get a nose job? Oh, there you go.
30 amp. Right now, I got dusk, and I've got 14.4 volts on it. Okay, 14.3 now.
All
The
right.
sun's going away, but it's still charging.
Yeah. As long as there's light in the
This thing-
sky, there's a refractory result.
This thing is sweet. This one went tits up on me. See the nail?
Right.
This one is the positive for the solar panel,
Right.
and it's all rusted out. I don't know how it got wet or when, but I never saw water on it. My inverter
Cool.
goes there, and there's the power wall up there.
Rock on. What's up, Canoes?
Nah, a whole lot of nothing.
Really?
A little warm today, up in the 80s.
Yeah, it was down. I'm saying it was cool today. It only got up to 88.
Yeah, I heard you had
Hey,
some high
you
heat
got to
last few
81.
days.
Yeah. Tomorrow's 95. Day after that's 98.
Oh, and
So
this
it's gonna be 100 by the weekend. So
it has a temperature sensor too, and a Bluetooth module, but not on this one. I had the Bluetooth module that plugs into it. There's a port right down here.
yeah, no AC there. Huh?
Well, they don't need AC in England.
106 they do.
Well, that's a rare occurrence.
Yeah, well, not so rare right now.
Well, we are in a global
Well, Ragged's on the coast.
global
He should
shift.
find a beach and just,
Yeah.
dip his toes in the water and enjoy the sea breeze.
We have a polar shift going on, guys.
I don't believe that.
It's been increasing. Check your true north versus your magnetic north. Changed
That's
quite a bit.
been going on forever, dude.
Yep.
Back when I was in Boy Scouts, I had to modify our maps every year for the correction. It moves like 2 degrees every year.
Yeah, Ragged, I'm glad I don't. But we need AC here because heat happens a lot here. I've seen English people here, and they just melt in this heat.
Rangers here. What's up?
Hey, Wiz, what
What's
was
up?
up with the video you put up the other day about Prince? The way you
Prince?
titled that video, it made it sound like he disappeared and never came back.
Well, he got hit by a car.
Oh no.
Yeah, Prince is gone.
Oh shit, brother. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I found him 2 days. I figured the second day when he didn't show up in his A, so I was going to look for him. I looked for him. It looked like he got hit by a car.
Dang.
So,
Sorry to hear that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fucked up. But yeah, we don't. That was video. That video was the last video that Prince was in.
I got you.
Right.
Well, let's smoke a bowl for Prince.
Yeah, Ranger's here with me right now. Princess has been staying inside with me at night. So Ranger's been really cool. He's been hanging out with me too. My best is cool.
I haven't heard it. Well, I got a solar generator coming from Costco.
Fire and we got a
But I'm
what? A
still
color
gonna-
generator?
Got a solar generator. It's EcoFlow, top of the line, and it's got a some really cool features, but they little more expensive for it. They have a generator, a gas
Did you
generator.
see the? Wait a minute. Did you see the generator video I've been passing around? The generator video that I've been passing around.
No.
Okay.
Well-
Dude, the guy shows you exactly what you need to do to build a generator that runs on water.
Yeah. Oh, I know
period.
that. I've seen that one.
Start to finish. And
And he shows that he's not cheating. He shows around it, make sure he's
Yeah.
not cheating.
exactly. The one he uses, the one I seen that was good was the one that uses the filters, the filter housings for the generator. He actually shows you how to build the plates and put them together. All the pieces and parts are listed in the video. Then
All the
turn
videos
around
I've
and he
seen-
shows you how to exactly hook it up into the battery. It's got to be a starter one you can push the button and start up the generator rather than hand pull. Because it's got the battery on it. The battery is for the process to be functional. But he shows you exactly what you go through, exactly what to do, and you can do the same thing.
Well, this solar generator I've got coming has a option to add a gas generator to it. It's the same brand, and the way it works is you plug into the solar generator and then go to the back of the gas generator, and when your battery voltage drops to a certain level, the gas generator starts up and charges it. So it's backup, and you can still have it hooked up to solar.
Right, I got you.
It's expensive, and it's louder than the same size model made by Honda, I think.
Yeah, this one runs on water though. Battery. That's all it takes is water.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
that's what I'm talking about. This one runs on water.
Somehow,
It's to the same situation, and it would run on water.
well, I'd have to use a regular generator, not theirs, because it has an auto on and off. I don't know how it would work with the hydrogen. That would have to be on first, or the
Yeah,
generator wouldn't start.
yeah. That's why it needs a battery. So you have a
Well,
battery on your generator to turn the starter
Well,
to start it. You just turn
It
the
has-
system on and then let it run for a few seconds, and then start the generator. And
It has a battery on it, and an auto start.
Yeah.
You can pull start it too. But I don't know how it would work if you're using the hydrogen. Might have to start it yourself
No,
rather than it. No,
what are you
it's
talking
managed
about?
for you.
Guy puts it on a generator, pushes the fucking button.
Never mind. I was trying to tell you something about something I was getting, but never mind.
I was just
You keep
saying
going on about the other thing.
Well, no, you were talking about
trying to
that.
integrate it.
Never mind.
You're talking about something different. I'm trying to tell you. Whatever.
Okay, go ahead. I'm done.
Okay, I know about that generator you're talking about using water. But I do not know how that would work with the one that works for the EcoFlow, because that one is programmed in with the EcoFlow to start automatically. With the hydrogen separator, you'd have to start it first. Well, I don't know if it would work. You'd have to put it on manual.
I'd have to look at it. Probably rig up a buffering tank or something like that. That would be fun.
There's some way for that to start up the hydrogen separation before it starts to generate. The only way I can think of it.
You can put a buffer tank in that system so that it holds like 10 psi on reserve.
Oh, okay.
There's a small bottle of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That might work then.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You put check valves in and you're good.
Hey,
But
look at the inverter. The little inverter. That's what I got right now until I get another one. But the one I want went from $287 to $500. Thank you, Joe Biden. Joe Biden's the reason I can't afford my inverter.
What's your boy? Oh.
Got a new shirt. Where is it?
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, I guess I made Ragged mad. He's not talking anymore.
Fire the bowl.
Okay, I'm going to try out the inverter.
I say something like that, Screaming Eagle, but it's not quite the same. Let's go, Brandon.
Well, I got more of the plants in the ground, but I really need to finish the roof on the shed. I got some decent weather for a while. It may not rain until August. Good time to get the roof up. I know everybody thinks it rains all the time here. It doesn't. It very rarely does it rain in summertime. I got a pocket drill set. I haven't really looked at it yet. Oh, it's got different size. 3 bits. Itching to try that. I wish I had that thing when I was building the shed. Because with the way I put it together, pocket drill would have been nice.
Yeah, we had some rain the other day. What was it? Sunday evening. We had Yeah, Sunday afternoon. We had a few pop-up thunderstorms come through, and I thought it was going to get bad because we were getting like wind gusts like 50 miles per hour, and
Did you?
the radar looked nasty. But we just got a light bit of rain that came down like a hard shower for like 5 minutes at a time, and then it would stop for like 20 minutes, and then you get another 5 minute shower. It was enough to help out, with the
Reagan
gardens and the
doesn't live in a
farmers and
democracy.
stuff. But yeah, then later at night, last night, it turned into like a real misty drizzle.
Are you near Iowa?
No, I'm in Ohio.
Okay, Iowa had severe thunderstorms.
Yeah,
picture,
that all
white
blew
screenshot.
through and hit me. I saw the radar.
You saw that picture?
Hmm.
That was wild. It was like a curtain of lightning.
Yep.
But it's a nice MPPT. I should have bought that thing a long time ago. Yeah, Wizard, I should have bought an MPP a long time ago.
My tea production is not keeping up with demand.
What's not?
I'm drinking water.
Good
Do
idea.
you have actual tea plants in the ground?
I have seeds that I am trying to propagate. Yes. Actual
How's the
bushes,
garden?
no.
Because I was going to say, like, your climate, you could probably be able to grow tea no problem.
Yeah, I think I'll be okay once I get starts. But I'll have to go to a nursery to actually get stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got purslane coming up. I did not plant my seeds. Not yet. But I'm going to plant. As soon as I get everything in the garden planted, I'm going to sprinkle purslane seeds everywhere. It keeps the weeds down.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
also good to eat. Very high in omega-3s. Tiny, tiny seed. Okay, this purslane seed. On Amazon.
I had lemongrass seed.
Can you eat that?
Bought a bunch of them. Huh?
Can you eat lemongrass?
Yeah. It's also good for attracting beehives. Big queen.
Oh, good.
Rogue queen.
You can actually press the seeds to get lemongrass seed oil out of them and make a tincture. And it's what's it good for? Is it good for your respiration? Like clean out your lungs and shit? Is that what it's for?
You know what? I'm not sure about that because my only reference to lemongrass is learning about it through beekeeping. That it's exactly what they prefer to draw a rogue queen, and she'll build a hive where that scent is.
Guess they like it.
Yes, very much so.
It's probably like lavender to us.
I don't know what it
say
does.
on Google that it's used to treat digestive problems and high blood pressure.
Oh, I need to use that.
And you can use it in aromatherapy to help relieve stress, anxiety, and depressions.
Yeah. If I disappear, it's because my heart probably gave up. I hope that don't happen. How could they ban hoses, Ragged?
It's like sprinkler bans here in the States.
I've never seen that. They would give us a recommendation. That's it. And
So they
California,
banned using hoses in UK.
in California, they would say no watering. And if you had a sprinkler going on in your yard, the police would show up. So I guess that's a ban.
Yep, they've been doing that for years.
But I've never seen that here.
Well, you're Oregon. You guys are a different breed.
You rain. You know, they're in
Not
drought.
really.
Totally.
We're in a drought.
But I'm just saying,
Well,
normally
you guys
Portland
are in the
and
rain
Seattle
shadow
are-
of the coast mountains.
Well, the coastal range kind of blocks a lot of the clouds.
Well, that's what I
Summer.
mean. That's what they call a rain shadow.
But you see the planes flying around. It looks like they're seeds in the air. Maybe we'll get some rain. All right, you guys might call him Kim.
Screaming Eagle says he's leaving Bears next month. He might go to Texas.
Nice. I love Texas.
Rager says they don't have power cuts.
You know, I toured Bonneville Dam years ago, long before they put these windmills up. And they were only running one generator per section of the dam. So 2 generators are running. And they said that provides enough electricity for the whole Pacific Northwest. Why do they need windmills? There's like 16 generators on each section of the dam. There's 2 sections. That's 32. Seems like they could run run enough power for the whole country. Or at least the western half. Just with one dam.
Yeah, well, Lake Mead is approaching problematic.
No, we're not having water problems here at the rivers. Not yet.
Yeah, Lake Mead is they're talking about deadline levels or some shit.
I heard they were about to shut the spillway down for good. Till the water level comes back up, if it ever does.
Right.
Yeah, and, Zach just mentioned it in the chat. Jack posted a couple videos today on YouTube.
Yes, I saw that.
And me and him were conversing back and forth through the comments for a little bit. He's doing okay, as well as can be expected. You know, the government hates him, and he basically says he's considered an enemy of the state over there now.
He's an asset.
But he said
He's an asset. Dang it. That came out wrong.
not for the government. Their government's fucked all to hell, man.
Yeah, the government sucks. But he's an asset for the people of Australia.
Yeah. But they've got him. He still hasn't gotten the jab. And I guess the government's pretty much basically shut his business down.
Oh,
as far as like any kind of like in-house sales at, you know, brick and mortar at his shop. He might still be able to do some stuff online. I don't know.
Well, what part of Australia does he live?
Like way out in the middle in the desert. The very western side of the state of Victoria.
You're out in the middle of nowhere. No threat.
He's in the middle of
western
nowhere.
side of Victoria. Battery.
Hmm?
Western. western side of Victoria is what he was trying to tell you, but you keep talking over it.
He did have some good news. He said it looks like Tracy's finally going to be able to go out either just to visit or permanently.
Oh, wow.
He said she'd be coming up soon, so that's good.
Cool.
No idea who that is.
And I was asking a lot because everybody's hooping and hollering about all the flooding in Australia right now, and him being in the desert, I didn't think he'd be all that affected by it. But he says like the main local river near him is 12 feet above the historic high, and it still hasn't really flooded yet. So it's definitely high, but he said that it would for it to flood out by him and cause problems, the river would have to raise significantly for something like 80 kilometers going upstream for it to start affecting him. So he's not worried about it.
Well, guys, I gotta go. It's my time to leave.
All right. Have a good night, Banner.
Well,
I just wanted to hook up that MPPT. It was not hard at all. I like that.
What's up, Ghost?
What's
How you
up,
doing, Bill?
Elvis?
Big light. There we go. Night, Ragged. Night, everybody.
See you later, battery. Have a good night. Oh man, I tell you what, man, I'm gonna go get me some like honey butter. I still got some of that honey butter Greg in me. Tastes just like the cake.
I need to email him and see if I can get some.
It does a good job. Well, in 3 tons of dirt, or 3,000 pounds of dirt, at least.
I wish I could do that. Are you talking by hand?
Well, I loaded it up with my backhoe and pulled it over to pulled the trailer over to the garden with the tractor, but I still have to shovel it off the trailer onto the wheelbarrow and then run it back around that rear wall. So yeah, it was a bitch. The Kraken. What's up, Bill?
And he gone.
Right.
He'll be back. Sounded like he was outside. He might have lost signal.
Right. Fire in the bowl. Shit.
Fire in the bowl.
Brought to you by Sausage Creek Biscuit Farms.
.com.
.com.
I've been
Sorry,
smoking
I'm
the
getting
same.
back. I know the mic's not the best, but
I've been smoking the same bowl for almost a week.
oh really?
Yeah. I don't smoke as much anymore.
Right. Like man. I've still, yeah. I don't. It doesn't take a lot because I really don't smoke much of anything during the day.
Excuse me.
But I'll be right back.
All right.
Yeah. Oh shit. Back around my good shoes, my town shoes. But did you ever get your air conditioner squared away?
Air conditioner.
Your air conditioning situation? Thought you said you had the.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
that was
I got a sick. No, my hot water tank. That's not a priority at the moment. No, I got a little window unit AC that's good for like a bedroom, and I haven't turned it on much in the last couple of weeks because it's been kind of mild. In fact, I didn't even turn it on today, even though it was 80. I just kind of roughed it out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't. I'm just like hitting the fan. You know what I'm saying? Get sweaty,
Yeah,
hit the fan. I don't jump in AC. So if it gets too
I
hot and I
can.
get overwhelmed, then I'll get in the car and go to town. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what my dad would do. He'd hop in the truck and go for a ride, and well, he would drink a couple beers while he was driving, but that was my dad. Oh,
Are you there?
I'm here.
What's up, buddy?
cool.
Yeah, I'm just coming in through Twitch. For some reason, I can't. I don't know. I
That's okay. We've seen several people have that problem.
Yeah,
same problem as yesterday.
the last couple of nights that I was watching in Twitch, people were complaining, and then they said they had better luck coming in through YouTube.
That's what I did this time.
Gotcha.
I hear you're really good tonight, Canoes.
Good in what way?
The audio
Oh, gotcha.
Wizard still sounds his still sounds a little bit robotic and kind of grainy. The audio does.
Yeah, I've been sitting back. So, yeah. What about now?
You're fine now.
Right. Yeah, it gets a little bit that way when I sit back. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm outside right now. It's breezy. It cooled down, and I'm getting little drops of rain here and there, but no real rain.
Right.
And it hit 98 today. Wasn't as bad as yesterday. Yesterday was 105.
You still got snow in the mountains there?
No, it's all melted.
It's all melted.
We did around the 1st of July and late June. 1st of July and late June, there was snow up there. In fact, we had a snowstorm in early June, up in the mountains, not down here, and it dusted everything. That's how night and day the climate is from one place to another around here.
Oh yeah.
We've got really
forecast with all next week. It's all 100s and above every day. I don't trust that.
we probably got one of the most diverse topography of any state in the United States. You can go up into lush, beautiful forests, you know, high in the mountains and everything, alpine, you know, an alpine type of topography, all the way to sagebrush. And then there's this area that's like a lot of cedars. It's a type of a cedar tree desert. And then there's a sagebrush desert. And then there's just barren wasteland. And then there's absolutely nothing wasteland that's nothing but salt. That's pretty diverse.
Eat more ice cream. I like that one. Yeah.
And then another area, you know, like getting down into Canyonlands, that's a part of the Grand Canyon system down there. And that's where you'll find those big natural arches.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Bryce Canyon, and it's the weirdest looking mountains you ever saw. They're like pinnacles.
Oh yeah, I've always wanted to go to Bryce. Ever since I was a kid and was reading National Geographic and shit, that place looks so fucking beautiful.
I know.
Yeah.
Right?
My sister got to go to Arches when she was in high school. She won a scholarship to there's this national program called Outward Bound, and it lets like high school and college kids, you know, go on all different kinds of outdoor trips. And she wrote an essay and won a trip to go out to Utah. She was out in the desert near Moab. She got to see Arches, and then she did whitewater rafting on the Green River.
Oh, yeah.
Had the time of her life.
Sounds like it.
And she's not the camping type. That's the funny thing. It's like a trip like that would have been right up my alley because, you know, I was all in the Boy Scouts and gung-ho outdoors back then, but she ended up winning the scholarship. It kind of blew me away. I'm like, I want to go.
Have you ever seen pictures of Lake Powell?
Yep.
It's part of the Canyonland system.
Yep.
But you can take boats like into you can take the boat right into, it looks like straight up walls, red walls of rock, and you're in a boat and you're seeing this on both sides of you, and you could go through tunnels and caves, everything on a boat.
Cool.
Oh, it's a trip. It is one of the wildest looking places. But it's a dam, you know, all they did was dammed it, and yeah. There's so many dams going down there. There's the Lake Powell Dam, and then as you go down into Arizona, there's the Parker Dam, and there's a place called Parker, Arizona, and it just you keep going down and you go down to the Hoover Dam, and you know, it's one dam after another. So if one dam up high were to break, the other dams would fall like dominoes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's an earthen dam.
Nothing downstream of any of those dams would survive.
No. And there's a kind of a cheesy earthen dam up in Wyoming that it's not very well constructed. If that's probably the top, that's one of the top dams in that chain of dams. And if that one was to give way, I can't remember the name of it. I'm thinking Fontanelle or something like that. But if that gave way, then it would hit, the wall of water would hit Flaming Gorge. And Flaming Gorge is, it's got it's already leaking anyway. And water has found its way. It's actually routed around the dam and underground, underground tunnels that it's leaking it down the other side into the Green River. And that's the Green River, by the way. And then that goes down with another set of dams down below that. But it would hit the Flaming Gorge Dam. The pressure would probably be too much for it. And it'd be one dam after another. Every dam that was to blow would make it worse for the next dam.
Yeah. It's like, you ever see that World War II movie called Force 10 from Navarone? It was like the sequel to The Guns of Navarone. Really good movie. It's got Harrison Ford was in it, along with a bunch of other big name. I think what's his name? Donald Sutherland was in it, I think. Bunch of guys, but like the main premise of their mission, they're like in Yugoslavia, and they have to take out a bridge, and they like get dropped by parachute with like a limited
I saw it. Yes.
Yeah. They don't have very many explosives, so they improvise. They take out a dam that's upriver.
Yep.
And let the broken dam just wipe that bridge completely out.
Yep. I actually firsthand, I didn't see the dam blow, but I went in the aftermath when the Teton Dam broke up in Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
And it wiped out Rexburg and Sugar City, Idaho, and a lot of other places. It was the freakiest thing to see, because just above that was a big logging industry. So when the Teton Dam broke, all these logs came down along with a wall of water, and the water didn't seem to be like moving really fast, but it was so much, it destroyed everything.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and it was a large body of water. Yeah,
That's
that
like,
was.
Go ahead.
I was a Boy Scout, and the purpose of me going up there was to help people. They loaded Boy Scouts up. They loaded all these Mormon Boy Scouts up, which I was one at the time, and shipped us all up in buses and motorhomes and everything.
Yep.
To help people dig out all their basement. I mean,
the older versions of the Boy Scout handbook had all that kind of training, and that all kind of stopped in the 70s.
Yeah, we were like a volunteer relief force,
Yeah,
bunch of teenage boys going out and helping people with whatever they needed.
Yeah, they would like be supervised by either the U.S. Forest Service or your state Forest Service, depending on where you were at, or whatever state you're in, the National Guard, They had all that stuff in the Scout manual back then, going all the way back into the 40s. 'Cause I got, I have some old copies of the Boy Scout manuals going back to like the 30s even.
I had
kinds of shit like that.
I had my old copy, because you know how old I am, and mine was my Scout manual was early 1970s. So
Huckleberry said hi, Bill.
what's that?
Huckleberry said hi.
Hi, Huckleberry.
Yeah, something happened. I think the Boy Scouts kind of stopped training for that, like in the mid 70s, because a scout got killed, like doing. I think he was helping out with like a rock slide or something, and he ended up getting killed. And the Boy Scouts got, they were already becoming liberal back then. They decided, it wasn't worth it. There'd be too much, bad publicity, and they'd lose membership and get their asses sued. So they kind of just stopped doing that kind of shit.
I was an assistant scoutmaster in the 90s, and I'll tell you, I held out for about 5 years. I did it for about 5 years.
Yeah, the 90s were the last of the good days for the Scouts.
And
all went to shit in 98.
And then
turnaround.
All these lawsuits and stuff started happening back then, and I was like, I was done, because it just got too. In fact, I think the Mormons actually have their own scouting program. They're not part of the BSA anymore, Boy Scouts of America.
Yeah, well, at one time they were the nation's largest supporter of Scout troops.
Yes, they were.
They had more chapters, because like out here where I'm at, most of the Scout troops were still associated with churches, but you would also have some that were associated with police departments.
Sure.
We even had one that was associated with NASA, because we had a NASA facility right by here. But there was we always read every year in the annual report and everything, it's just the Mormon Church had the most amount of affiliated troops.
Yeah. Yep.
The only thing that they still taught, like disaster wise, when I was in the Scouts in the 90s, was firefighting. And it was pretty lame, to be honest with you. I earned my firemanship badge pretty early on, and it basically involved going to your local fire department for like 2 days of training, and that was it. And then 1 year at Scout Camp, they had an actual state fire marshal out there, and they specifically focused on like forest fires and wildfires. So I signed up for that. Just even though I had the badge, I'm like, okay, I can learn some new shit from this. That was a fun class.
Yeah.
Hard work, man. You got dirty.
We used to do stuff like go up and help build trails. We helped build hiking trails and things like that. And they started saying no.
Around me at least, they saved that kind of stuff for individual scouts that do like their Eagle project. And yeah, because it was a liability thing. Like we offered our local Metro Park system, they opened up a new reservation, and there wasn't really much to do there. We're like, we can at least put like a trail in between the parking lot and the picnic shelter and the lake and everything. And they're like, nah, if we decide to do that, we'll take care of it ourselves.
The reason I got out of the scouting program as a teenager had to do with the fact that I had to go out and earn money in order to buy myself shoes and stuff because my mom was a single mom, and I had to help out. I had to. So my schooling and everything kind of suffered because of that too. And I wound up going on work study credits and things like that in high school, and wound up just at a certain point going in the Army.
Yep.
I started to try to go into the Navy at 17, and I didn't have a high school diploma or GED, and I passed my ASVAB and everything to go in the Navy, but I needed to get my GED. So, and I passed the ASVAB, but the physical part of it, they said, I made the mistake of saying I had allergies. I shouldn't have said it. I should not have freaking said it. But at that time, I had an allergy test, and every one of those little numbers on your arm where they do the test on the inside of your arm,
Yep.
every one of them swelled up, and they would cause me asthma. I'd get asthma from it.
I remember my father had to get some allergy tests done when he was still working in the factories, and it was all it wasn't like typical allergies. It was tests for heavy metals because of all the plating work that he did, and they did the test on his back because the arms weren't big enough to cover the test. And he had like 2 full sheets of paper, dots, like laid horizontally, up and down his back with like tiny little pin pricks that were all like pus filled and infected and everything. He ended up being allergic to a lot of that shit over the years.
I asked the doctor, I said, does this stuff actually make me allergic?
Yeah.
But so I had to get doctor signatures saying that I was fit for military service. And I did. I had to get 3 doctor signatures. I went to the Navy recruiter, and guess what? I had my paperwork in hand, and I looked inside there, and there was some goofball sitting in there, and the person that I was supposed to talk to wasn't there. So I walked right on past. I flipped him the bird and went in the Army. Went right in the Army. And I knew, just put, no, I do not have this. I do not have that. And you check every one of them. No, you check one of them, and you're not getting in. That's just the way it is. If you say yes on one of them, you will not get in. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, I remember my high school graduating class was
because the key thing is, it's to the best of your knowledge, right?
Yeah.
It's to the best. I didn't see that part of it. All I saw is you can be prosecuted by federal blah 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 and all this stuff. So you need to answer these to the recruiter told me, he says, okay, it's to the best of your knowledge. The Army recruiter helped me out there, and he said it's to the best of your knowledge. So if you didn't have any of these things to the best of your knowledge, you're not going to have a problem.
Yeah.
If you check yes on any of them, you're not getting in. And the recruiter told me that. So it was no, all the way down the line.
Yeah. See, my sister had the opposite experience when she joined the Navy. Her recruiter basically told her to lie on a particular part of her application and background check. And it ended up catching up to her and the recruiter. The recruiter, he became part of a naval intelligence investigation, and he basically fucked with the records and told kids to lie on certain things like at least 4 or 5 times. So he got shit canned, and it caught up to my sister eventually when she was in her no, it was right after her, or no, before she even graduated. She was still at Great Lakes. They told her, we found out you lied on this one part of your application. So you have 3 choices now. You can step out voluntarily and just leave without finishing your training, or you can complete your training, but you won't get, your choice of MOS. We're only going to let you choose between being a general office clerk and a dental technician. And she's like, she ended up going the dental tech route because she thought, at least she'd get some training so she could make some money on the outside after she got, discharged. But when she went to the A school for the dental tech, she hated it. And she ended up faking a suicide attempt to get out of the Navy.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, the Navy and the Marines, they don't give you your choice of MOS.
Oh, the Navy, they do.
They didn't when I went in. When I was trying to go in.
It depends on how high you score, I think, on your ASVABs.
I think the Navy at that time, what they did was you go in, you learn, you go in, you do your boot camp and the whole thing. And then when you graduate from boot camp, that's when they look at your scores, you and they'll tell you what jobs you're qualified to go into, and it'll be like 3. Now the Marines, they just assign it to you. Yeah, you're just a Marine, and it might be something cool. Like in the Navy, what I wanted was to go into avionics. So that's what I wanted in the Navy. If I was to go in the Navy, I couldn't. If I would have pursued it, I could have went in and done avionics. But I decided the Army. I was looking at their MOSs and I saw tactical communications operator and repairman, and I thought, hey, that's going to give me some electronics training, similar like avionics. And that's what I thought that the wave of the future was going to be electronics.
Yep.
And so I finished my AIT at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and they said there was a slot available for where I wanted to go. I didn't want to go to Germany. I didn't want to go to Korea. I kind of wanted to go to Germany. And the choice was, there's a slot in the Middle East. And there were some hot things going on at the time. There was terrorists and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I said I wanted to go to this duty station, and they said the slot that's available is air defense artillery, which your communications, and if you go to 2 weeks of artillery school, in addition to your commo, you'll be able to fill that slot, which was an obsolete job because it was an obsolete weapon system that hasn't been used since the 1950s.
What, like Hawk missiles?
Honest John rocket crewman.
Honest John, okay.
Okay. So I did, and then when I did my second overseas tour, I went to Germany, and I was a commo guy for a field artillery unit, and that's what I did until I got out. So I did kind of multiple MOSs, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, some people get into that.
Nothing really cool, boring stuff, I guess.
Like I was saying earlier, my graduating class, they didn't get recruited that much from high school. We only had 3 kids out of a class of almost 300 kids go into the service, and like one of them went into the Navy, one went into the Air Force, and one went into the Corps of Engineers. And the one that went in the Corps, the other two kids, they only did 4 years and they were out. The guy that went into engineers, he stayed in for at least 16 years, I think, before he got medically retired. He was over in Iraq and Afghanistan and shit.
So I'm following what's going on in Ukraine, and because I'm still an artilleryman at heart, and I'm watching the only artillery units that I see that have gotten the shit blown up out of them on the Ukrainian side, where the guys they would do a barrage, right? And they wouldn't move their units fast enough, and the Russians would zero in on them and
counter battery stuff.
Yep. And that is what's happening to some of the artillery we've sent to them. It is getting blown up by the Russians if they don't move quick enough. Mm-hmm. If they move or disperse and go different directions, sometimes that works too. But anyway, the motto is shoot, move, and communicate. So when these guys, shoot, they got to move and they got to communicate. And sometimes they have to split up, because rockets are going to be incoming. And the Russians are using their multi-rocket launch systems, and they will take out a huge artillery like it sometimes pretty quick, but they're not doing too good right now.
Yeah.
They're not doing very good at all. And we just sent a bunch of HIMARS stuff over to them.
We sent some other stuff too.
Long-range HIMARS.
Yeah, we sent more of the old school MLRS shit. And they're getting some advanced 155, rounds that are kind of like smart bomb type technology. Well, they can put on almost like a JDAM package on some of those artillery shells and turn them into smart shells.
Yeah. The one that scares the crap out of me is
probability of error of about 5 meters.
I'd hate to get hit with a hyperbaric freaking weapon.
Let's put it this: if you were in anywhere close vicinity when it went off, you wouldn't feel anything. You just instantly be dead before your brain could even register it.
It pretty much turns you inside out.
Yeah. The hydrostatic shock in the air combined with, the temperature of the explosives, it turns you to jelly and instantly fries you,
Well, I found out they've got RPGs now that can do the hyperbaric thing too. They use it for penetrating buildings if there's any occupants in them. Yep. In an RPG-7.
Well, NATO has some of that kind of stuff too.
Well, yeah, we're building it in the U.S. and sending it over there.
Yeah,
we're sending an American version of an RPG-7. I don't remember what the name of it is. It's got Picatinny rails and everything on it. And we're sending them to Ukraine, and they're using them, and they're having great success. You hit one of those T-70s or a T, even it might not do a T-90, but a T-70. T-70 is freaking toast, man. If you hit it right.
I'll say with the T-90s, there's, from what I'm hearing, that almost every type of armor that the Russians have is susceptible to stuff that the Ukrainians have access to.
Yep.
Ukrainians, they pulled out of long-term storage machine guns and shit for World War I.
Mm-hmm.
and they're kicking ass with it.
They saw Ukrainians with freaking Mosin Nagants.
Mm-hmm.
Mosin Nagant with a POSP scope on it. Oh man.
And they've got Ukrainian troops being trained in the UK at UK bases.
And in Poland.
Yep. And
But
they're like regimental strength.
It's
not just like a couple squads or platoon. It's like, half a division.
well, they can train them in the Ukraine because large swath of the Ukraine is quiet right now. And they got training.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's looking pretty good for Ukraine at the moment. I really don't know what the numbers are, but it's looking pretty good for Ukraine. But then again, don't trust Putin, just like don't trust China. Putin is probably got an ace up his sleeve, and there might come another wave that is going to be worse than the first. So, but the hot spots of Ukraine, they're pretty much void of anything other than soldiers. They've moved them all out, tried to get them to safety. Bad decisions are being made on both sides, I think. Bad and good. Bugs me that we have to dump so much money into another country, That part of it bugs me.
It's all theft.
What's that?
It's all theft. Graft and theft.
Yeah.
They want to transfer big numbers there because they skim the top all the way there, and there's 3 or 4 stages
Yes.
go through, and they
Yeah.
skim, and then they get kicked back for having that money there because then they invest in the companies that are benefit from the situation, and then, yes.
Well,
Wartime is always a
back
good time to make money if you invest in the right industries. Always has
Right,
been.
especially if you have oversight of military. Yeah. State Department, hello.
it's the military industrial complex.
Yes, sir. And the politicians get the kickback. If the companies make the money, they get the purchases, they get the sales, they get the money.
You know about those $200 hammers and $700 for an ammo can and all that crap.
Yeah, $1,100 for a
$500
toilet seat.
Jinx.
Yep.
That ammo can's going to change hands so many times. Well, the money is.
Oh yeah, it's all theft.
I know they're all funneling it into their coffers and stuff.
Yep.
When it was Bush, he was funneling it all into Halliburton. And his oil cronies. Now we got Biden selling freaking all our oil reserves to China. Well, not all of it, but what was it? 500 billion gallons of oil or barrels? 500 billion.
5 million out of the strategic reserves was going to places that shouldn't. Yeah, offshore.
It was a massive amount. It was enough to have to fill up tankers to get it there.
5 million gallons or 5 million barrels. That's what
Something
it was.
like
5
that.
million barrels.
Barrels, that's what I said. You say 5 million. I thought it was even more than that, but maybe. 500 million, I think. I think it was 500 million.
No, we don't have 500 million in the strategic reserves.
Oh, all right.
No, strategic reserves, if I'm correct, is somewhere around 1,000. Well, a billion. Bleh. Somewhere
I don't know.
close to 1 billion barrels. Okay, something like that.
Had a lot of zeros.
Yeah. So it normally is at like 700 million barrels in the strategic reserve, but it's down less than that now. And he's just made a deal to sell off, well, 1 million barrels a day for 6 months. That's 150 million barrels.
See, we got the ability to produce all the oil we need. We could produce all the oil we need, and Trump did it.
Yep, Trump proved it.
Right.
And not just what we needed, but he produced a massive surplus.
Yep.
Yes, and he filled the strategic reserves with really cheap oil.
Yes, he did. And the Keystone Pipeline wasn't even built yet. It never even got fully into operation.
Right, I know.
All those pipeline guys and everything that lost their jobs, all the people up in Canada that lost their jobs because they were all banking on completing the project and stuff, and it hurt Canada. It hurt us. That one thing hurt us. That one thing. And the other things were no new oil leases. He shut them all down. He wasn't issuing new oil leases. The potato.
He shut down operational. No drilling on federal land.
All that new stuff that they build up in the Arctic Preserve, he shut all that down.
Yep, shut it all down.
Russia didn't shut off the gas to the EU. The EU shut off the Russian gas. It's your fucking EU. The EU did it. Putin didn't do it. See, this sounds like the same thing we got going on over here. It's like Putin's gas price increases, Putin's tax. Putin's not running our country, and the EU shouldn't be running Putin isn't running the EU. The EU runs the EU. So they're the ones that said we're not going to buy your Russian oil. We're putting a moratorium on all Russian oil. The EU decided to do that. I mean, geez, the EU needs to die. Yes, they do. The EU is your problem over there, Ragged. In fact, and then doesn't Norway sell a lot of oil to the UK? I think all of Norway's oil doesn't go to the Norwegians. All the money goes somewhere else, but not to the Norwegians, and it's their oil, and they're selling it. And who's reaping the benefits of Norwegian oil?
And then the same thing goes for Holland. The Dutch, that's Royal Dutch Shell. They have, they're completely self-sustained with oil if they want to be. They just sell it off on the global market.
Yeah. Yeah, Boris kind of sold out the whole Brexit idea. Everybody thought he was pro-Brexit, and he wasn't. I for a while, I was kind of liking Boris. I didn't realize what a freaking turd he was. But he's gone now. He's gone.
They need Nigel Farage.
Amen to that. You guys need to be supporting old Nigel. And the French need to support Marie Le Pen.
Well, they just had their election. So
yeah, and she didn't win.
Yeah,
she didn't win.
It's going to take a while, unless his government collapses, which is always a possibility.
I got a feeling that she won.
Probably.
I got a feeling that there's something wrong with their elections too. In fact, I'm pretty sure of it.
It's like the old saying goes, never trust the French.
Yeah. We'll find out. We'll find out. I'm glad to hear Jack doing good and everything. Well, I don't know if he's doing good, but I'm glad he uploaded some videos.
To be honest, I think he's spending most of his time in the bush.
It's looking like that, yeah.
And probably spending time with, his tribe that his wife was from.
Oh.
Can't say for certain, but it's a good possibility.
I'm starting to get a wee bit of rain. I'm outdoors, getting rained on.
Well, no, he was married to either his wife that was Aborigine. She was either full Aborigine or half. I'm not quite certain, but that was I don't know. I think she passed away years ago. They had a daughter together. He's still trying to get together with Tracy from Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
And supposedly he said that it's going to work out soon where she's going to be able to finally get over there.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, the videos that he posted today, one of them was at least an older video. The second one might have been an older video too, but he didn't mention it. The one video, he was with some of the tribe, and they were out hunting wild geese. And the other one, they were shooting roos.
I saw him popping a couple of roos there.
Yeah, but apparently where they were hunting them at, like that population of roos had like no experience with like mankind, so like they were real timid, and like he shot one of them and they just stood still, and he shot another one like 10 seconds later that was right next to the first one that he shot. The whole herd of them barely flinched.
Hilarious. Yeah. Well, is he harvesting them? I'm presuming he is.
Oh yeah, yeah. They skid them out and use everything from them. Tan the hides, eat the meat, use the bones for tools.
That's cool.
Or grind them for fertilizer. Who knows?
Yeah, because let's see, it should be their winter.
Yeah, so, technically, they're seasonally opposite of us.
So this is probably, perfect for their hunting season. Any kind of hunting is always better in the winter. Well, it's better up here. It's not so good in deep winter because a lot of deer are going to be kind of lean.
Yeah.
but they're going to be like free of parasites and stuff.
And Bill's power just shut off, I think.
Either that or he fell out. He just fell out. Yeah, it's starting to rain now. Rain's coming down a little better now. Guaranteed it was not forecasted. Every forecast I've seen has been wrong. What is it? Google weather? Google weather's been wrong every single day. Predicted 104 temperature today, and it only made it to 97. So 97, 98. I think it was 98 actually. It was pretty freaking hot.
Yeah, it was like mid 80s here today, I think. But it was like cloudy, so if it would have been clear, it probably would have been 95 or so.
Yeah, I was.
The wind's coming in from like the southeast, which is really strange.
So I was just drenched.
We're getting nothing, nothing of the cooler lake air from the north like we usually would.
I was out in the sun working, and the freaking I just got drenched, man. I'm just drenched with sweat. So freaking hot.
Yeah, I'm gonna go outside tomorrow, or well, later today, and go berry picking. Because I think it's about time for my black raspberries to be picked. Yeah, the wild strawberries, they were looking good about a week ago.
I know where to go to get wild currants, but I don't have the gas money to get up there.
That sucks.
I'd love to go up and get me some wild currant berries and do some fishing and spend a week. Spend a week up there in the mountains.
I'll be right back.
Yep.
Yeah, Wiz just texted me his power's done for the night, so he says good night.
All right.
I'll keep her going for a little bit until I finish my drink, I suppose. Some grape flavored Gatorade.
This place I went to, that I know where to get the currant berries. There's moose up there, and there's huge herds of elk. And the last time I was up there, I was coming down the mountain, and I couldn't keep from. I mean, I had to go like about 10 miles an hour. I could have went faster, but I couldn't because there were so many elk crossing the road the whole entire way.
Wow.
I mean, just crisscross in the front of my truck. there were so many elk. I can't imagine how many elk there were. There must have been thousands, and they were all just kind of right there. It's like all the elk in the whole state must have been there. Oh no, here goes Huck. She's gonna leave. I'm sorry. I'm driving her off. But that's where I catch some of the nicest fish up there. And
Trout.
huh?
Trout.
Yes. Cutthroat. If I catch rainbows, I usually keep them. If there's like an abundance of cutthroat, I'll keep a couple,
Yeah.
But I want the cutthroat to propagate.
Yeah, I heard that there was a certain species of trout that had kind of gone almost extinct out in the West over this past century, and they were restocking it like across the whole of the West. And for years, like they were telling people that caught them to release them so that they could actually gain maturity and breed for a couple of years before they were setting size limits. You could only catch really big ones to keep.
I'm thinking the only indigenous trout we have here are cutthroat.
Yeah.
And we've got two different types of cutthroat here, and I don't know what the difference is in them, and I think they could probably crossbreed. But there's the Bear Lake and the Bonneville cutthroat. And Bear Lake is a natural lake, and there is a species of cutthroat that are native to that. And the Fish and Game, in their infinite wisdom, introduced rainbows and browns.
Yeah.
And thinking, and what it did is it just hurt the cutthroat population.
Yeah, out here we got some rainbows. It's mostly steelheads. And they're technically not even a trout. They're more of a salmonoid.
Yeah.
They're closely related to a salmon, but they put up a good fight. And if you like to eat fish, they're supposed to taste good.
Well, trout and salmon are very similar.
Oh yeah, same. I think same family.
Same color of meat and everything. Same lures.
Yeah.
You'll catch both with the same lures. Just if you're going out for steelhead. Are you talking about steelhead?
Yeah.
If you're going out for steelhead, they're bigger. They're a lot bigger. And they're ocean going. That's the only difference.
Yeah, during the open seasons, all the little tributary rivers that drain out into Lake Erie, you'll see is fly fishermen standing in their hip waders out in the rivers fishing for rainbows and steelheads. And then I guess like you can catch steelhead out in Lake Erie because they're bigger, and if they're migratory like to the ocean, they'll go through the Great Lakes all the way to the Atlantic, through they have a diversionary channel around Niagara Falls. I think it's called the Welland Canal. And then there's another channel at the opposite end where Lake Ontario becomes the St. Lawrence Seaway.
So do you have other types of fish that are predators on the steelhead?
I suppose walleye. I don't know if they're big enough they could probably take on a steelhead.
Do you have muskies?
Yeah, we have northern pike and muskies.
So they need a trout.
Yeah.
I know muskies will.
Someone caught a huge fucking sturgeon a couple of weeks ago. And in Ohio, sturgeon are strictly catch and release. You're not allowed to take them. And this thing was fucking huge. I think they said it was like close to 500 pounds.
Oh, yeah. Well, those are spawners.
But they don't have a really big population. You can only find them in two places, Lake Erie and the Ohio River. And you almost never hear anybody getting them in the Ohio River. That's mostly catfish down there. But every once in a while in Lake Erie, you hear about, maybe once or twice a year, someone will catch one. But this thing was a monster.
They go pretty far up rivers.
Yeah.
They go up the Snake River in Idaho, and they go up the Columbia River. I mean, they go pretty far inland. Sturgeon do.
That's an area of the country I would love to see, the Snake River area.
In
Some
fact,
of the tributaries, oh, it looks so gorgeous.
they catch sturgeon in the San Francisco Bay and way up the Sacramento River in California and the American River in California, up in the deltas and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I saw somebody catch one once. It was a 40 inches in California. And I think at the time, but they released it at the time. I don't remember what they have like a maximum length and a minimum length for sturgeon. And I think it was like 32 inches was the minimum at that time. But I don't remember what the maximum was. Freaking awesome fish, though. And they say it's delicious. Sturgeon is some of the best eating fish there is.
Well, especially if you get a female that has eggs. And you're into caviar.
And I like caviar. But the only caviar I've actually eaten was from a fish called lumpfish. I haven't tried sturgeon caviar. And I wasn't sure if I would like it, but once I had it, it's like, it was on. If I get another chance for caviar, I will go for it.
I don't think I don't like fish to begin with. I doubt I'd like caviar. I'd try it just to be polite, if someone offered it to me, but I don't think I'd like it.
It's actually really good. I didn't have to force myself to like it. I ate it right out of a jar. Some people put it on crackers and stuff, and they kind of cringe when they try it. I didn't even cringe. I ate. It looked delicious, and it was delicious. But then I've seen like other types of, caviar from everything from trout, every other kind of fish.
Yeah.
And I would not touch it, but this was good.
Yeah, the trout fishers around here, that's their primary bait, is using trout eggs. All the bait shops around here sell them in a jar.
Yeah, I have salmon eggs. I use salmon eggs. I don't use trout eggs. I use salmon eggs, but maybe they sell trout eggs. I don't know.
Well, some areas have them because we still do have a couple of commercial trout farms in the area, and some of them they strictly raise their trout to harvest the eggs for bait. We used to have a trout farm just a couple miles from here, where they had a couple above ground stock pools, and you could go in there and pay, I think it was $8, and go fishing and catch your limit, all day long.
Oh yeah. Well, those are fish hatchery trout.
No, these guys were independent. They weren't involved with the state. It was just like it was there. They were there from like the 40s through mid 80s. It was just a place where you could go and go fishing.
Okay.
Taste for trout. It was a real shoddy I mean, it was right by the time I was a kid. Used to drive past it all the time. It was real dilapidated and run down, and I think that by that time they only had one pool left open, and my dad took us there one time, and it was like dirty as fuck, and we were like, nah, we'll pass. We'll go catch some bluegill.
They got those kind of places all over in California, like little trout ponds and stuff, but they stock them.
Yeah.
They, and like Wiz said over there where he lives, he said if he builds a pond and is willing to open it to the public and not charge for them to go fishing there, the state of Missouri will stock it for them. That's what he was telling me.
Yeah, around here, if you want to get, like, if you have your own pond or your own lake, you can, I'm sure there's a way to work it out with the state to get it stocked, but our county actually has a stocking program. That's, we have a thing called the county Rural Water and Electric Commission, and they have an annual fish sale to stock ponds and stuff with. They offer panfish like bluegill and crappie, bass, I think both large and smallmouth, and channel catfish, not the blues, but the channels, and then some other dinky little feeder fish. I've really never looked into the pricing though.
Yeah, if you come up here in rivers and creeks, the type of fish that you will catch, the type of trout you're going to catch, are going to have a real nice, deep, dark red, pink, this pinkish red color to it. The meat.
Okay.
And the taste. I've caught trout in these little fish farm type of ponds that people let the public go into, and the trout was all white meat, and it was edible. I mean, it was okay, but man, you get some real native trout. I'm telling you, the taste is just mouth-watering. It's so much better, and you will never ever want to eat that white meat type of trout ever again. And that's the stuff that comes out of the trout farms. There's farms that I mean, we've got private companies, private businesses. I don't know if you remember hearing about one of our governors, Mike Leavitt.
I remember the name, but don't know anything about him.
Well, the Leavitt family owned their own fish hatchery, and there was this skullduggery going on between these different families that were running fish hatcheries, and they put some diseased trout in the Levitt family's farm that had something called a whirling disease.
Yeah.
And the Levitts sold a bunch of infected trout to the state of Utah, and it started spreading whirling disease. They didn't know, but it was a rival hatchery that had done it.
Oh, that sucks.
And so it gave the Levitt family a bad name, you know, because they said, "Oh, here's the Levitt family raising a bunch of fish that are diseased." And the state of Utah got involved and started, you know, inspecting all the trout farms and stuff. They knew what it was, and it was intentional. I mean, in fact, I think somebody even made up, did something to the fish, put something in the water or whatever to make the fish get the whirling disease, so that they could sabotage their rival hatcheries. There's these damn, you know, it's just, that's the kind of cutthroat crap that goes on around here. You know, like you try to start a business or something, and some rival company will come along, somebody from a rival company, which I actually had happen to me, and they'll slash your tires, they'll sabotage your business and everything. I mean, we have that kind of crap going on around here. I just chalk it up to the Mormon Mafia. That's all they are. They've always been like that. If they can't, you know, they like to eliminate their competition. It's dishonest, it's crooked, it's evil, you know, but it's like that. It probably happens there where you live. Probably happens out there where Diesel Defects lives.
Yeah, I think about 15 more minutes and I'm going to shut her down.
Yeah. Back when we had yellow pages, which nobody uses them anymore. They used to drop yellow pages off on my porch. I don't know if you guys still get them there.
It's been about a year or two since I've had a phone book delivered out here. You can request them, but I don't think they drop them off you know, like they used to.
Everybody, well, no, I mean, you can Google anything you want now. You don't need yellow pages anymore. Or there's Yelp. You know,
there's yellowpages.com. Just, you know, it's an electronic version.
Yep. That's probably what Yelp is, maybe the same thing. But you'd see these companies, they would just, oh my gosh, you know, looking for like a contractor, say a handyman, there'd be like a huge section of the freaking Yellow Pages with nothing but handyman ads.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to pay for that advertising. You know, I did run an ad in the Hispanic Yellow Pages because I wanted to target that demographic, you know, and it was cheaper. It was cheaper than the regular Yellow Pages. And I remember that, and it was hundreds of dollars, man. It was not cheap. It was so expensive. And now you can advertise for free. You don't need to. Yep. You don't have to pay for. Yeah, the Yellow Pages. Nobody uses it anymore. And these people were paying hundreds of dollars a year, you know, for running Yellow Page ads. And the bigger the ad, the more it cost. Just kind of
Surprisingly, in my area, the for a long time now, the best way to advertise is radio advertisement.
yeah, that's still a good way.
Especially on the AM channels. You'll always have it on the FM channels, but it's like AM targets like a different type of demographic as far as your potential market goes.
Like older people,
True. Yeah, exactly. And
people that actually have money.
it's like there's companies that advertise on our local AM news station that they've been running the exact same ads for 40 years.
Yeah.
And their businesses, they don't have to worry about riding out a bad economy because everybody knows if you need a certain, job done or this or that, they'll just, be in their car driving to and from work and they'll hear that jingle, 10 times a day.
Like the Whipple plumbing ad.
Yeah.
I heard that in every freaking state, man. I heard Whipple plumbing. Call Whipple plumbing. And it kind of sounds like a local ad on the radio. But I heard it in California and I heard it on and we have it here. I heard it in Ohio. I'm sure I've heard it in Ohio. It's everywhere.
I haven't heard it myself in a long time, but I do remember hearing it as a kid.
Or how about call Big Lou? He's on meds too.
Yeah.
Those are radio ads.
Yep. Yeah,
Big Lou's
one,
like you.
One of the big ones that's been going on forever. We have this regional company. They're called Arslanian Brothers, and all they do is clean and sell carpets and like Turkish rugs and shit like that. They have their own in-house cleaning services and they sell new carpets and rugs and stuff. But they're like, if you got a dirty carpet and you live anywhere near Cleveland, they're like the only place that does it, So like that same ad, Arslanian Brothers. And then there used to be a real estate company that had this old granny, and she would just do this jingle. And it was back like when they went back so far that they still use the old telephone indexes before you had like a 7-number sequence, like where each city code, and it would be Garfield 12323, Garfield 12323.
Yeah.
That brings back memories.
Do you remember the commercial? The guy that did the Hey Vern.
Oh, Ernest. Yeah.
Yeah, he started out as a radio commercial guy. And then he started doing milk commercials and all kinds of other stuff. And then we had a guy, I don't know if you guys had, I don't think you did. We had a guy that was just like Boss Hogg. He looked like him, sounded like him, and it was for the Carpet Barn.
Well, they might have. We had Carpet Barn around here. I think they're not around anymore, but I do remember seeing Carpet Barn stores when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So maybe that commercial did air around here.
T-Buff, that was his name. They called him T-Buff.
Mm-hmm.
He looked dressed just exactly like Boss Hogg. Wore his little white suit with his cowboy hat and had the pot belly and everything. T-Buff. That was it. The Carpet Barn. And then he'd take a bow and he'd say, "Thank you."
Then we had The old Wendy's commercials. Where's the beef?
Oh yeah, the old
I'm
lady.
looking, Marge. I don't see it. Where's the beef?
We had a local one that was almost like that old lady. It was this granny that she was like, they said, if you don't like our tires, you can just return it to us. And they show this old granny throwing a freaking tire right through their window. It was like the "Where's the beef" lady, but there was some good ones. But man, I would open it up for I'd open up the yellow pages and I'd say at least a third of our yellow pages here were lawyers.
Oh yeah.
Lawyer
I think
ads.
I think that's a fact in every major city in the country.
Yeah, it must be. And it was interesting looking into the white pages and looking what kind. I don't know if I'm the only one that does this. Maybe other people do too. I just like looking at all the names.
Yeah, I used to do that when I was younger.
I just like looking at all the names, and I used to read thesauruses, so I could learn alternate words for things.
Yeah.
I would read a thesaurus, or I used to read the dictionary because I was always trying to learn new words, and I used to really like playing Scrabble and crosswords and things like that. So that's part of it too, I like word games. Aaron looks like Ernest. Yeah, kinda. He kind of looks like Ernest, especially when he shaves. Because Ernest didn't have a beard like that. Aaron looks like Ernest. He does. Just a bit. He could probably pull it off as like an alternate Ernest if they needed another Ernest. They're like, I know your guy. I know him. But he'd have to try to do a Southern accent because Ernest had a Southern accent. I have a Western accent, I think. I was in Illinois, and I had this girlfriend over there, and she said, do me a favor and say the name John again. And I said, John. And she said, me and my friends are, think you sound like you're from England. I'm like, from England? How could that be? Well, how do you say John? And she said, Jan. And to me, that sounds like Jan, Jan. So, yeah, we have some different variations. And then you got old Sing over there. I know he's not here. Keeps calling things root. The root. People are trying to teach him how to say root. And we do call a creek a crick out here. The locals do.
Yeah, I kind of have always leaned more to the crick. But around here, creek is the proper terminology.
I always said creek.
Yeah.
And my grandmother, my mom, everybody called it go to the crick. And I always said creek. Because I know how to read. I'd like to hear how Ragged talks. I wish he'd get on the stream one of these times, because I'd like to hear his accent. He says he speaks Cockney. I think our English is more proper than theirs. They used to be the proper ones, and they kind of diverged. The British did, and now their English sounds less like English than the Aussies.
Well, it's regional. If you want the proper, stiff upper lip British type of accent, you're gonna
I know.
look for people around the London area. But I'll tell you, nothing on earth sounds as sexy as a British woman with a good accent, regardless of the region.
Don't even get me started. I
Yeah,
love that. I love that Irish accent with red hair. Oh, dude.
Scots. Oh yeah.
The Scottish or the Irish either.
And all over. I like the girls from Cornwall, Devonshire.
How about the Liverpool girls?
Don't know much about them.
Think of the Beatles.
Well, I know.
Think of how the Beatles talked. Don't bloody start, mate. I don't know, if I tried to speak Cockney, I'd probably sound like a pirate.
I bet if both of us, if we tried to speak Cockney while we were over in the UK, we'd probably get our asses kicked.
Probably. Skinheads would attack us.
Footballers.
Yeah, the footballers. We heard about you guys. We heard about you blokes. Yeah, too bad Ragged doesn't come up here. I want to hear how his accent sounds. But I'm not gonna push him because I know that he's kind of timid and stuff.
He says he likes American girls because girls there are stuck up and cold.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of snotty. Kind of snots. I think that's what they call them in the Carolinas. A woman that acts kind of, highfalutin. They call them a snot. Yeah. Don't worry about her. She's just a snot. It's not you, it's her. And I like Southern girls. I'll tell you what, there are some absolutely drop dead gorgeous Southern girls.
Well, I've seen them in Tennessee and North Carolina.
Yeah. I've seen some of the most beautiful women from Tennessee and especially, believe it or not, Oklahoma. There are some, oh man, baby
There's
dolls.
good looking women everywhere.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. How about the Amish girls?
Ooh. Show me that ankle.
Show me some ankle, baby. With their little sunbonnet. I wonder if there's any Amish living in England.
It's possible. They have colonies all over the world. They were originally, well, it would make sense because when the Amish first started coming to the U.S., they were part of the Anabaptist movement.
Yeah.
And that kind of started when
Switzerland.
Switzerland, Germany, and then they kind of made their way over to the UK before they ended up over here. So there might still be a trace of some of that over there.
Right.
Ragged says, I'm one. You're an Amish living over there?
Oh, I think either you or I would just totally blend in England if we went there.
Yeah, pretty much. I could get by.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'd blend in. And in fact, I think because a lot of my roots are from there, I think I could assimilate and not even miss a beat, you know? The biggest thing that I don't like about England is their all their gun restrictions.
Oh yeah, the government there.
That's 90% of what.
No guns. Well, I mean, you can get a shotgun. You gotta go through leaps and bounds to get one now, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
But no knives in certain areas. It's stupid shit like that.
Yeah. I'd probably, in order to be happy there, I'd probably have to go to the borders somewhere like Lancashire or far away from Liverpool, north, somewhere between Scotland and Liverpool, in order to be content and happy.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to live near any of the big cities.
No, me neither.
And the thing is, England is a pretty good place if that's the kind of lifestyle you want, because they do have a good rail and bus network.
Yeah.
Pretty well connected from, one side of the country to the other by the trains.
Even Yorkshire would be nice. Devonshire, any of those shires.
Well, yeah, the Southwest, like where Cornwall and Devonshire, it's only like a 2 to 3 hour train ride to London.
Right.
But it's a completely different world.
Exactly.
I had a friend once who spent half the year in Cornwall and the other half of the year in Scotland. And I'm like, can I come live with you for a year? She's like, if you can make it, sure.
Wales would be all right. But I'd need to be out in the countryside in Wales.
Yeah.
I'd have to be up in the hills in Wales in order to, really not like go stir crazy. Because British people kind of drive me nuts. No, not really. We did come over here for a reason, to get away from you fuckers. But yeah. And it'd be easy to assimilate there out of all the European countries. Number one, because we already speak English. So.
Well, the problem is it's very hard to get like resident status over there, because they have such a problem with all of the former colonials coming there to live, like all the Pakistanis, all the Indians, and everything. Unless you're extremely well off financially, it's kind of hard for an American to, actually go over there permanently.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to, though. I wouldn't want to be permanent over there. I wouldn't mind spending a couple of years there. If I had a wad of money, I'd go over there and spend a couple of years there. If money was not an issue, and just mulling around and seeing the sights and interacting with my English brothers and sisters, mostly Scottish is, I've got a lot of roots in Scotland, so Scotland and Wales. But it's not
the
about.
only thing I don't think I'd be able to get used to is people driving on the wrong side of the road.
Oh, I'm sure I could get used to it. It's not that hard. They come over here and they get, they have to learn how to drive on the proper side of the road. So instead of the improper side. Oh, the diesel and petrol. Yep. That'd be kind of rough. I've heard about that. What about a little motorbike there, Ragged? You think that'd work with the cost of petrol? Get a little motorbike and rent a little flat, or one of those teeny little cars like Mr. Bean drove.
Well, I think they have a lot of what they call, it's our version of RVing. They call it caravanning over there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that do that still.
That would be good. Because you could pretty much go anywhere and spend time. And there's probably a ferry that would take you into Ireland too, if you wanted to go there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because they definitely would.
They got ferries that go to Ireland, up to Scotland, and Scotland has its own ferry system to get out to its islands. They got ferries out to the Isle of Man and
New Hebrides.
The Isle of Wight.
Yep.
Then they got all the ferries that go over to
Shetland Islands.
Shetlands, yep. And then cross-channel stuff to go to France or Amsterdam, or they probably got a ferry that goes all the way to Norway, I bet.
France, if it wasn't such a mess like it is, I wouldn't mind. I would love to go to France, actually. I'd love to go to France. I'd like to tour the country and everything. But problem is that I really am so insecure about even trying to speak French because of the way they are. They're always trying to correct me with my French. So I don't like the attitude of the French, personally.
I took almost 6 years worth of French in school, and I still think I would have a very hard time because I've forgotten almost all of it that I learned.
Well, I'm sure it would get better. I'm sure that within a year it would all come back. But you need to spend enough amount of time there to do what they call immersion learning, where you immerse yourself into the culture And it becomes where you're actually dreaming in French. And that it's that way with every language. If you can dream in that language, you've got it made, man. That's where it boils down to, where it actually becomes a part of who you are. So I would like to be able to dream in Gaelic. I wish I could dream in Gaelic. That's my dream, is to dream in Gaelic. It's Scots Gaelic. And after that, I would try to learn Welsh and how to speak Irish. Become a master of the Celtic languages. And then there's Galician, which is another one. They say that's actually probably a really good one to learn, because there's so many people who speak it, who speak Galician. And Welsh has more speakers. More people speak Welsh Gaelic than can actually speak Irish or Scots. And Welsh, when I look at those long Welsh words, oh my gosh. I'm like, how would I ever learn it? Welsh looks like a total pain in the ass to learn.
Same thing with German. There's a lot of very long German words.
Some Welsh words look like they're half a page long.
Oh, I know.
Well,
They got like 20 syllables to them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But a good majority of the Welsh speak English too.
Oh, they do. They all speak English. They're trying to revive it. You know, they've been deprived of it. You know, and now they're really encouraging people to learn it, so that the language won't die. It's a beautiful language.
Yeah.
And it's got a unique way of expressing yourself that's different than other European languages. It's an ancient language for sure.
Yep. All right, man. I gotta hit the sack. I am beat.
I dated a girl who had a Welsh name, Wilhelmina. Wilhelmina. It was a one-time date and never happened again. And this family were all from Tennessee. So, but they had Welsh origins.
Mm-hmm.
Telling you, Ragged, there's more of us over here, more of us that are of your island over there, over here, just in America, than there is in your whole entire country. Yeah, there's more people from the UK in the United States.
Well, that can trace their roots back there. Yeah.
That can trace our roots. And then that's not to mention Canada and Australia and all the other former British colonies.
Yeah, but definitely, you know, Tennessee and the Carolinas have a huge, you know, background of Scots and Irish and Brits or Englishers.
Yeah.
They were the original settlers.
Yes. Carolinas, yeah. Well, the 13 colonies in general. Yep. And they fought in the Revolutionary War. And some of them came out to fight the British in their kilts. Freaking redcoats.
Yeah. Hey, Bill, I got to be taking off here.
All right. You have a good night.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out with us,
yeah,
Ragged.
thanks. Yeah, Ragged, and I don't know if there's anybody else left.
There's probably some lurkers out there that just keeping a low profile.
Yeah. Yeah.
All righty.
Y'all take
Have a
care.
good day, Ragged. Don't let the man get you down.
Eat lots of ice cream. That's all the advice I can tell you. Take care, folks. We'll catch you later. Good night.